You're watching 7 River Sports here on KQEG. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, wellness, and fitness. Today, a special show because the spotlight shines brightly on UWL Eagles women's basketball. 3 guests. First, Dani Craig will join us with Coach Karen Middleton. And after the break, we will be joined by Lexie Higgins and Carly Coulthart. Off to an impressive 8-0 season. By the way, Coach Middleton's 3rd time she's been on the show. Off to an 8-0 season. Unbelievable. I made the statement to you, Coach, in a game earlier, that one of the reasons, in my view, that you're having such a good season is because of our guest sitting between us, and that's Dani Craig. Because I've seen and coached players throughout the country. She sees the court and adds more intangibles than I've seen players in a long time. Give us your thoughts on Dani Craig.
Well, Dani just provides a ton of experience for us. She knows the game, really good basketball mind, but plays all phases. You know, she obviously isn't a great shooter, but sees the floor, has really good vision, defends, really works hard on the defensive end. And believe it or not, she's starting to rebound for us. So we're getting all phases together, and top it off, she's a leader captain for us. So all aspects of the game she does for us.
Sometimes there's a misconception about what a captain does. So I think sometimes players think that their job is to just go talk to the officials before the game, and that's really pretty much it. That's not the case, is it?
Not at all. I think the biggest thing is communicating as a captain on and off the court. I think a great example is this year we have a very young team, so we're trying to show them the ins and outs on the court as well as off the court. I remember those two sitting over there. They came in their first week and were just stressed out, and Emma Gamoki as well. But I think as a captain you're supposed to help them along and help them to try and just figure it out.
How do you do that, though? I mean, you're also your job as a captain, and we're going to talk about going down memory lane to your experiences before this. But sometimes there's players that are not living up to their expectations. Sometimes there's players that are struggling with drama, self-confidence, and so on. How do you intercede and help develop that? Me personally, I try to tell them to not focus on all the outside things that are going on and try and just focus on what their task at hand is. I think people can get caught up in all those little things, little drama things, and then it creates a big thing that probably doesn't need to happen. So I try and focus on what's going on. Coach, one of the things that you and I have talked about on this air and off the air, and that's developing a culture. And all the good coaches develop cultures that are above and beyond what many other teams do. You brought to UWL a fresh approach. Your culture is something to put on a pedestal. Explain UWL women's basketball culture.
Well, first and foremost, the biggest thing is I want them to enjoy being here. I want them to have a great experience. I want them to love coming to practice every day and the people that they're around. So you create a vision of what you want your program to be about and look like and feel like, and then every day it's just working to be consistent with that. But you build relationships, and what's great about where we are now is we've been able to recruit these young ladies in. Carly, Lexie, our freshman class, obviously Dani, one of our earlier ones getting here, but they buy into what you talk about and what you want it to be about. And then you work every day just to get there. But it's constant communication like Dani talks about. It's coaches working with our captains and having captains meetings and talking about different things of where we are and things that we need to do. But for us and our culture, it's being unselfish, it's being a great teammate, is putting our team above ourselves and looking at the bigger picture. It's coming to work every day in practice and work hard, but also have fun. You know, something happens and we'll just stop and laugh, but that's what it should be like. But we also are going to challenge them and help them get better, but have fun along the way, and that's what we want to do. And obviously we're off to a great start, but at the same time we're also focused on getting better and working to improve, because we know what's ahead with the WIAC and what a challenging conference schedule it's going to be for us.
Speaking of the WIAC, you're picked right in the middle. You're picked under Whitewater, Eau Claire. Is that in last year, of course, you had a great season. You went to the semifinals in the WIAC, and this again your third year. You've accomplished a great deal. What are your thoughts when you saw those early predictions, and what are your thoughts about other teams in the WIAC?
It's the toughest Division III conference in the country. And yes, Oshkosh, Whitewater, Eau Claire, they're ranked ahead of us. But I also know that we're trying to learn ourselves. And with so many freshmen that we have, no seniors, graduated Elise, who was WIAC Player of the Year, we had a lot of questions to answer. And through these 8 games already, we've learned a lot about ourselves. We know the places that we need to continue to work and improve. But you know, the WIAC it's a battle every single game. Stout's undefeated right now. You know, a lot of teams and conferences in our conference is doing really well. So preseason stuff is fine, but you know, it's just a matter of every single day coming ready to play and executing a game plan and playing hard together for each other too.
Well, last year you were 16-10, and I noticed today prior to the show I looked on the WIAC website, and Stout, Olin, they were at the bottom last year in the conference, and now they're undefeated, as you said. It was like, you're kidding me. So it's UWL, it's Stout, and I believe Oshkosh undefeated. So.
And it's a lot with your non-conference schedule, who you can play, and you know, Holmen away, and you get into some series that you have to complete, and then the tournaments that you get into. So. Obviously, some teams are going to have much more challenging non-conference schedules than others, and I feel like we're kind of right in the middle. Being young, we needed some really good challenges, but we also needed some opportunities to learn, and I think we're doing a really good job of learning from winning, and that's the best case scenario we can have.
You are 8-0 again. First segment of our show today, Karen Middleton, head coach UWL, along with Dani Craig. Let's get to know Dani Craig a little bit more. I know her as a friend, but you as viewers perhaps don't know her. But so the journey to UWL, starting at high school and then a college stop before UWL. Share that with our viewers.
Yeah, so I'm from Iowa. I went to high school at Iowa City West High.
Your name's in the record books, right? By the way, there from what I read.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that some records?
Yeah, we have a good program there, so we make it to state a lot. So I was lucky enough to be coached up there by BJ Mayer. So, and then went to college my first year. Met Karen out at Cal State Fullerton. Played there. It wasn't ideal, I would say.
Well, wait a minute now. You said it wasn't ideal, but I looked at the stats, and you had some impressive stats. You played every game, and so it just wasn't a good fit for Dani Craig, or what?
Correct. It was a tough situation. I really enjoyed being out in California, being from Iowa, but I think things just didn't turn out how I would want them to turn out. And when Karen was leaving too, and I actually had one more stop in between there, but I did know I wanted to play for her too.
So you tell me there's a distinct difference between Iowa and California?
A little bit, yeah.
That's sarcasm, by the way. I would think so. Well, last year you started at UWL. You're a junior. Started all 26 games and played extremely well. And I watched you play a lot, and that's how we kind of connected, because I admire what you do as a player, not just because of your gift, but because how you make other players better by being just there. Mm-hmm. You see that as your role. Reflect on last year, and how about your first 8 games this year, and what we're going to see out of you the rest of the way.
I think I see my role as, yes, trying to make people better. I think I get more joy out of making the extra pass to someone and them knocking down the shot than actually making the shot. So I think as a captain now too, my one job is to help everyone around us get better.
I hope our viewers heard that, and that's a lesson for young people too, as I talk to young people about their style of play. You said you enjoy making other people better, making that extra pass to somebody and helping them become successful than you do scoring yourself. Is that the way you were when you were young? And if so, who inspired that in you? Yeah,
I think I've always been this way. I think I've always been a player who is usually yelled at to shoot more. I think my dad inspired me a lot. We would go play pickup at the University of Iowa Fieldhouse all the time, and I would see him I thought he was Magic Johnson out there sometimes passing the ball. He was doing some crazy stuff, but even in a pickup game, he was being unselfish, and I think I saw that right away at the beginning of my life and was like, I want to do that. So,
kind of describe for our viewers our UWL practice.
We do a lot of fundamentals, lots of shooting every day, ball handling, just working on basic breakdowns of what we do offensively and defensively. And then we bring it together and do some competitive situations where you have winners and losers and create some game situations. So I think there's a good flow to it. We try to be really specific with it. Everything has a purpose. You know, when I was at Stanford, Taro always talked about not having fluff drills. Like, we just don't do drills just to do drills, but there's a reason that we do everything. And also, we just want to be concise. So 2 hours, we get in, we get out, but we work really hard during those 2 hours because we know they have a lot of things to do from an academic standpoint too. So we just try to make it very specific to what we need to do. And you
choreograph your practice, I'm sure. But before we take a break, Christmas coming. As we tape the show here on December 10th, Christmas around the corner, real quickly. Favorite Christmas memory and what you're looking forward to for Christmas this year?
Oh, my favorite Christmas memory is every year my immediate family and my dad and his 2 brothers, we all get together at our grandma's house, and that's my favorite Christmas. We do that a little before Christmas.
And Christmas 2018?
What's it look like? Same thing, going to grandma's house and eating good cookies and food.
But then, right after Christmas, you're going to be jumping on a plane and going west where you were for a while. Yeah. We're going to talk about that in the second segment. And when we come back, we're going to be joined by 2 other players, Lexie and Carly, and Dani's going to take a break. So thanks for being on the show, Dani. And you know how much I admire your game. You know that already. And Karen will come back with us right after this break.
With our busy lives, it's a comfort to know that we can still remember loved ones in a traditional way with a monument. Lewiston Monuments in Lewiston, Minnesota has been helping families purchase a monument for over 4 generations. You'll find a large selection of beautiful granite, marble, and bronze monuments, all at competitive prices. And they're a full-service company, so they also do straightening, cleaning, and repair of monuments. Stop in or call for a no-obligation consultation, or visit lewistonmonument.com for more information.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Well, we're joined by 2 additional players from UWL women's basketball, 8-0, one of the top teams in the Midwest, Lexie Higgins and Carly Coulthart. Welcome to the show. Well, first, let's get to know the players first, starting with Lexie. 3-sport athlete at DC Everest, all conference. I mean, you set all kinds of records. You could have won anywhere in the world to play. You could have probably left college, just went right and played in Europe, but you decided to come to UWL. That was great of you. So talk about your high school days and who inspired you when you were young?
Just really that all my coaches basically supported me to be a 3-sport athlete in high school so I could balance things. It was a lot of work, but they all just inspired me to do different things and not focus all on one sport, and it just grew me as a player in multiple sports and as a teammate and being a leader on the court.
You had success in all 3 sports.
Yeah.
And I think from what I read, you contributed across the board. I mean, you weren't just a role player, you just were an excellent athlete. So did you have a favorite?
Basketball was my favorite.
Oh, I figured that was going to come out.
But I really enjoyed volleyball. I don't know, I was just a middle blocker and I always had fun. We went to state our sophomore year and then we were really close to state both junior and senior year.
All of us have people that inspire us. Today and back when you look down the yellow brick road, who inspired you?
I would definitely say my high school basketball coach, Matt Bullis. He just like inspired me to step up on the court, be a leader, and play my role. I mean, when things weren't going right, you always just move on to the next thing and like worry the task at hand instead of focusing on like games ahead. You focus on what's happening now.
Good. I'm sure he's happy for you. Why did you choose UWL?
Definitely the academic standpoint, but then just the culture that Coach Karen here has built so far and what we can be and what talent has been brought in.
You said the academics. I know your major is biology and you're a PA track student, which is highly challenging. So, Coach, you got to make sure you give her plenty of time for studies.
Definitely.
But by the way, interjecting this, you know that Division III, it's discover, dedicate, and do all the things that blend around academics. And you take time to make sure that your students, because that's part of your evaluation, is how your students do in the classroom. Is that correct?
Definitely. Academics are first, you know, and we really try to structure things so they have time to do what they need to do. I mean, that's the most important thing. Many of them will go right into their careers after they leave grad schools or whatever path they take and not continue playing. So it's definitely something that's a huge, huge priority for what we do, but also what they do.
Yeah, I know it is. Knowing the culture and the expectations of UWL as a former athlete myself, student at UWL. Carly Coulthart from Sun Prairie, I'm very familiar with that. Now, 4 letters in basketball, track and field, cross country, but here is something that caught my eye. Record holder in the 300 meter.
Yes,
I ran her. You did everything.
I did.
So there's a pretty good program here at UWL in track and field too.
I haven't thought about doing that here. I think I'm going to stick to basketball, but I did enjoy track a lot in high school.
Well, did the track coaches here know how much success you had in high school?
I'm not really sure.
They will know, I can tell you that. Do you promote, if a player comes to you and says they'd like to play another sport in college, how do you feel about that?
I'm all for it. You know, like Lexie, both of them multiple sport athletes. I think you see just the athleticism that both Carly and Lexie have just adds to what we're able to do from a basketball standpoint. They're not one-dimensional. You know, both of them long, lanky, athletic, but it makes you more versatile, and that's what both of them are. Just really good, versatile 4 players, 5 players, face up. They're very comfortable with it.
Yeah, I can tell that in the games I've seen. In fact, Carly, you're averaging 7 points a game. You're playing some valuable minutes as a freshman, by the way. And you are an ESS pre-physical therapy major.
Yep.
So is that what you have when you were younger? Is that kind of the way your career was pointed?
It kind of stemmed from tearing my ACL twice, so I kind of got to see like the physical therapists do like what they do every day. So and they helped me a lot too, working through obviously 8 months twice of not being able to play. So I don't know, I want to help kids that had to go through what I went through.
Is that on your mind now during your freshman year in college, thinking that, oh my goodness, if I take a wrong step, or does that ever come to mind?
And it's definitely scary knowing that it could happen again, but when you're out on the court, you just have to put it aside and play, and I play because I love to play, so just gonna put it aside.
Lexie, has it been was it a challenge? I mean, just thinking back a few decades ago when I went from high school to college, it was not easy. And I'm sure that remains pretty prevalent. Was it difficult? You leave home, you have to start a new chapter in your life. How challenging was that for you?
I mean, the first month or so was probably challenging, just not like having your parents there always to like rely on, having to like go to the cafeteria here and eat all the meals. I'm sure Carly could speak for that. And then just like getting into the swing of things, like only having classes like 2 or 3 times a week, and just like balancing and being like responsible for your own like adulting, basically.
How about the huge distinction though in the difficulty of classes compared to high school, and knowing that you need to dedicate a lot more time to studies, and it's all about time management. And I'm sure Coach talks about that. Has that been difficult?
I think the difficult part about that was probably in high school you do a lot of like busy work because you're just sitting in classes, but here you have to just like study on your own, like make your own study methods kind of, and I never really had that in high school, so it's been a learning opportunity to like learn which ways I study best and what works best for me so far.
What do these two players, Lexie and Carly, bring to the program, Coach?
First of all, just great people, awesome teammates for each other, for everybody else that we have, but unselfish. You know, they're all about our team. They have a great work ethic, but just like we talked about a little bit before, they're great athletes. Carly has a 6'2" wingspan, so she's super long. Lexie brings a great dimension in the post. She's a shot blocker, moves really well, has good agility, and just both of them have done an excellent job of defensively helping us be where we are, but offensively just adding some great versatility to what they do.
What did you see in them besides, were there any intangibles that you saw? I mean, you went and watched them play. You had your recruiting is such a big part of college athletics, obviously. And what did you see in them that caught your eye?
Just how hard they worked, the demeanor that they had on the floor, how they related to their teammates, how hard they played, you know, just all the different things, their skill set that you could see. Carly fits right into what we love to do for the 4-player. We're going to eventually progress to being a guard, complete guard, which she's very comfortable with that. But with our 4-around-1 system, like, she is a great matchup problem. With Lexie, just, you know, she's got great strength inside with post moves, but she's also very comfortable facing up. She can drive it from the high post. We're challenging her to stretch it out to 3 a little bit more. They both buy into defending and rebounding. First and foremost is what I think they love to do that. But they've also added just so much from the offensive end to what we do as well.
Lexie, you're averaging 9 points a game, and are you playing more than what you thought you would? And what do you see your role? And then finally, evaluate what you've done so far on a team that's 8-0.
Definitely coming in, I didn't expect to be like playing as much as I have, but I just think that I bought into the role that the coaches want and the team needs. Just being like a rebounding factor, I feel like, is my role on the team, and just like being a defensively in the post, and just yeah.
Are practices considerably different than what they were in high school?
They're kind of similar in a way, where we focus on like more fundamental stuff and skill work and running through like plays and the offenses and stuff, but it's definitely more of a mental challenge than high school was.
Well, the mental is the physical is 4 is to 1 in terms of your mental approach. But before we went on the air, we talked a little bit about some of the expectations, and these student athletes here, as we tape the show on December 10th, on a Monday, we're at lifting weights at 6:30 a.m. I don't think you did that in high school.
No, well, I did that for softball practice.
So you expect a lot out of your athletes, then. I mean, and it's not only 6:30 a.m. weightlifting, but it's nutrition, and it's out of season conditioning, and it's quite extensive, isn't it?
They want it. You know, they want to be really good. They know what it takes to be really good, and we're just scratching the surface. Obviously, they're having very good start of their freshman year, and I can't wait to see what they're like as seniors, because as good as they are now, I know they're going to continue to get even better, but they know what it takes. They work as hard in the weight room as they do in practice, and it takes all of that. It's a different physicality, it's a different pace of the game, and they've really adapted well to that, as well as just adjusting to college in general.
And Carly, you've had some valuable minutes. Most athletes are hard on themselves, want more and more and more, and have high expectations, but are you comfortable with what you've done so far in your minutes, in your scoring, in your role, and what are we going to see from you after the first of the year?
I think I'm going to try to continue what I've been doing, but I think I just kind of come in as a spark off the bench, which we need sometimes. So I buy into that, and I know what I need to do to help the team. So, yeah.
So, and again, as we tape the show, this is a little before Christmas, and I know as we end this show here this week, you are getting ready to go to California, to the beaches of Southern California. Real quickly, talk about that, Coach.
Just a great opportunity for our team. Obviously, a very, very competitive tournament at Chapman. We'll play Chapman University. That was an NCAA team last year, and Redlands. Both are having excellent seasons so far. So we're going to be super challenged on the court, but off the court, just a fun time for our team to get away from the snow a little bit, to have some great bonding opportunities, to be able to see a different part of the country and to share it together, to have some great memories that I don't think we'll forget for a very long time.
I'll be anxious to talk to you when you get back. I'll be envious of your tan, and I'll be anxious to talk about your trip. But I want to encourage all of our viewers to get to Mitchell Hall to watch these Eagles. If you haven't watched them before, if you don't know much about the team, the culture, the makeup of the team, and so on, you're missing something. So right after the first of the year, the Eagles have a home game. Again, they're 8-0. They have great assistant coaches. We didn't have a lot of opportunity to talk about that, but you brought a couple that I know very well, Alyssa Clement from Westby,
yep.
And she played for you, and then Bobby Vandenberg, a close friend, as well as two other coaches too. You want to mention them?
Yeah, Janelle Street. She and I worked together before. Carly Sprouse was at Western Carolina when I was there. And obviously Alyssa and Bobby. We have a great staff. We work hard together. We have fun. We challenge each other. Really good experience across the board, from Division I to Bobby having coached for many, many, many years. So, and Alyssa was a player for me her senior year. So just great group that we have to work with our young ladies here, and just some great relationships that we're building.
Wow, a super team, and you're missing something if you don't follow the UWL Eagle women. Again, our guest today, Coach Karen Middleton, along with Dani Craig, Lexie Higgins, and Carly Coulthart. So have a great season, have a good trip to California, and I'm sure I'll see you during the season, and we'll be there with our cameras on the campus of UWL.
Thanks for having us.
All right. We'll be back with some film clips on a recent game right after this.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
When you're faced with the decision of selecting a monument to honor someone dear to you, call Lewiston Monuments for a no-obligation consultation. Lewiston Monument is a full-service monument company, serving families in Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin for over 4 generations. You'll find beautiful granite, marble, and bronze memorials, all at competitive prices. Their experts can help you design the perfect and unique memorial. Lewiston Monument. Call today or on the web at lewistonmonument.com.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Well, Art and Rick were at the Bernie Ferry Fieldhouse on Friday for an MVC doubleheader. The Central Red Raiders versus the Holmen Vikings. Let's start with the girls. Nate Johnson takes over for longtime Viking coach Dwayne Veek, inheriting a young and inexperienced team. That led to multiple early turnovers and a 10-point deficit at halftime. Only one Viking player in double figures, junior Braden Written with 14 points. Central was led by 2 players in double figures, both with 14 points. Ava Parcher and Whitney Mislavisic with 14 points each. Holmen drops to 3-5. Central improves to 3-5. Final from Holmen. Central 63 and Holmen 50. Well, Steve Blank's Vikings boys started strong, matching the Red Raider baskets and trailing by only 6 points with 6 minutes to go before half. Then Todd Fergus's state-ranked Red Raiders turned up the heat with a 17-0 run and a 35-12 halftime lead. Central forced 13 turnovers, converting them to 15 unanswered points. That deficit bothered the Viking shooters, making only 5 of 25 shots from long range. Senior Jimmy Gillespie made 2 of those shots and finished with a team-high 8 points. Johnny Davis led Central with a game-high 20 points. David Hayden added 12, while Jordan Davis finished with 9. Central shot 58% from the floor on their way to the 4th win on the year. Holmen drops to 2-3. So, final from Central. From Holmen, Central 71 and Holmen 39. Well, that's it this week on Seven Rivers Sports. Hope you enjoyed the show. Best wishes during this Christmas season for a happy, healthy, and good holiday season. I'm Terry Erickson, the host of Seven Rivers Sports.